deniers of climate change are foolish, and not to accept the available scientific information. And again, listen, since Vatican II, somewhere, somehow, the idea of the movement that was becoming more in tune with Green Movement and the Catholic Church has been just growing and growing and growing. And this Pope is like more than anybody else in that bandwagon. You know what I mean? Needless to say, Jordan Peterson has some very interesting words to say. You know, the business of the church is not to save the planet or trees, is to save souls and to bring people closer to. Now, there is something about the stewardship, right? Is everything that is created is given to man. Now, the question is given to man as a responsibility to care for, or is given to man so that you can actually benefit and have dominion over everything that was created? You can take that concept whichever way you want to. I think there's a little bit of both to that, but there's different levels to when something comes from the Vatican, when something comes from the Pope. There's definitely different levels of consideration. But in general, what comes to your head when you hear something like that, or a position? I mean, this is somebody, when you're talking about bully pulpit, when you're talking about somebody has a super mega horn that is going to reach out to many people. That's as good as it gets. Yeah.
Look, whatever he says, it's kind of, it really isn't relevant. I mean, the end of the world would have happened in so many times that we shouldn't even be here, according to like the whole climate thing, all the polar bears drowning and all the caps melting.
You mean Ocasio? We only have 12 years. And
Yeah. It's like, and what's the guy with the inconvenience truth?
Al Gore.
You know, it's like we should be already dead and drowned because of a water world type of movie scenario happening. How many times over? How many times do we have to move the deadline? So what this is going to create is more kids taping themselves to
the Mona Lisa.
Art. Yeah, which is kind of like, how annoying is it? You listen to everything else, but... I mean, you forget about everything else, but listen to the one thing.
The
that's like, because
problem is that, I mean, you have some people that are really not that connected to, or not part of the Catholic Church, not that connected to the Catholic Church. And so for some people, they'll go like, first of all, you know what I mean? Whatever you say doesn't mean anything to me. That's a group that's in there.
Yes.
And whether the statement was about climate change or even about religion, it's just like, who cares? It's just, I don't believe anything you say. But there is a very, very large group that takes it very seriously.
Yeah. So I think it's just, if anything, it's even more than the celebrities, you know. Yes, I think anything the Pope says,
is the biggest celebrity.
Yeah, you know, people are gonna go with it. It doesn't matter whether the view is right or wrong. If he said it, people are gonna go with it. I think people underestimate how much we as people are influenced just by somebody else saying something or co-signing something. There's so much things that we don't know why we do it. It's just somebody else told us to do it, and we're going to do it. We're not going to look into it. We're not going to do any research. We're not going to say whether it's right or no. They told me to do it. I'm going to do it. So I think this is huge. I think it's a big deal for anything.
But let me tell you the different layers that we're talking about here right now, because I want you to understand the gravity of, like, if you don't know the difference between an official proclamation of the Pope that is treated as ex cathedra. Ex cathedra means it's an official position of the church that leaves no room for the Pope to be wrong. It's literally...
That's what this is?
No, hold on a second.
I'm
Hold
like,
on.
wait a minute.
That's what I'm saying. There's different levels. The highest level is the Pope is not even writing just as the Pope. He's actually writing as the Pope to saying this proclamation is ex cathedra, and literally it's infallible. There's no... it can't even be questioned. It comes literally. This is not only the position of the church, comes from God directly, Vicar of Christ, so on and so forth, right? It's an official document. The second level is not ex cathedra, but still is a position of the Pope, right? It doesn't have to be considered an official position of the church, but it carries a lot of weight because it's a position of the Pope. Most of what he has done, and I mean 99% of what he has done, is the position of the Pope. Not he doesn't want to label things a proclamation as an ex cathedra, because there's a lot of stuff that has been questioned even by the rest of the clergy, right? And then the last one is the opinion of the man who is the Pope. Now I'm not talking about Pope Francis, I'm talking about Jorge Bergoglio, you know what I mean, who is the person who also happens to be the Pope, who can literally wake up in the morning and say, you know what, the reason why I think it's raining too much is because of this whole climate change situation. But if you don't know the difference between under which authority this man is actually communicating with people, then you have a lot of issues. There hasn't been a pope that has created more confusion between what is allowed, what's not allowed in the church. This gender issues are it's a mortal sin, but at the same time, we have to welcome everybody. You got to make sure that everybody we can bless some unions. We can bless the people that are part of. At the end of the day, like the people that are even close to him, I'm like, what exactly is the position, right? So when you have somebody at this level with this level of power, and with a bunch of people that don't understand which authority is the one that's actually speaking, that's a problem. That's a problem. And that's the argument for Peterson, right? Like listen, instead of being in that business right now, we have a lot of people whose soul needs to be saved right now, opposed to being in this kind of issues and this kind of topics.
I don't agree. I think Peterson. Yeah, I don't agree with Peterson. I think that with any person who a lot of people are looking to, they're not looking to them for any one thing. Like maybe it should be that way, but I don't think it's gonna be that way. For example, if you're my teacher, like let's say you teach math, right? I'm not gonna only ask you math questions. You, as the person who's a teacher, I might ask you about something that's going on with me at home. I might ask you about, hey, I'm not just going to, no, it's only math questions only that I ask my math teacher. That's not true. If you are a teacher, there's going to be other things outside of just math questions that I might look to you
But about at what level are you doing that? I mean, because actually, listen, at an elementary level, for me, besides my own parents, teachers was like the closest thing to God. You know what I mean? Like I get that idea that man, I went up to, or I took very seriously anything that they said, any recommendation. As you start going through, as you start getting older and you developing your own opinions, again, you kind of choose the people, or you accept at a certain level whatever it is that's coming from that person. You know what I mean? So I agree with you in the sense that it's valuable that people will have different opinions. But when you also make a statement like that, to accuse people, it's not even a question of denying. It's that if you questioning the data that is available at this point, or you try to put it against data that it essentially has a complete different position. Listen, according to many of the stuff that has been produced through United Nations, just like you were describing, many years ago we were supposed to be starving, and especially here in the state of Florida, Orlando was going to be like the new Bay Area, you know what I mean? Opposed to, like, we were supposed to be already surrounded by water. None of those things have happened. And I'm not saying that we haven't seen any specific consequences. What I'm saying is that there's got to be more balance, precisely because of the weight that somebody's opinion will carry, you know what I mean? In this case, and that is the essence of his argument. It's not saying don't say anything at all. But if you're going to be precise about something, well, I think that you should be more precise about the salvation of the souls. And I think that what he was trying to do was to establish an order of priorities for even the Pope himself. You know what I mean? Now, I don't think he's saying don't say anything, but also don't make such a statement. Because now if I'm questioning something, the leading conclusion is I'm a fool. And then it's coming from the Pope.
I really.
And I'm a Catholic. It doesn't
No,
mean
I
anything
get
to
you,
you.
I get you,
It
but-
doesn't mean anything to you. But now I'm going back, going like, man.
What I'm
Yeah.
saying is, I think
Maybe,
like
maybe,
Alanis Morissette.
maybe I need to be. I need to go watch Al Gore again, and see
No,
what.
it's possible,
see-
but that's what I'm
see
saying.
how
I think-
inconvenient the